Hey everybody, welcome back to Tony Coleman's Drummer Knows Best, my unlimited podcast. And I talk to a lot of people, not just drummers. But anyway, today I got a real special guest, a great friend, and he plays his ass off, man. You've seen him, you've heard him. Uh, I'll cut to the chase. I'm talking about Chester Thompson from Genesis and Phil Collins. Yeah, Chester Thompson here and Frank Zappa and all that. So anyway, here he is, Chester Thompson.
Hey, Tony T.C. Coleman, drummer knows.
That's what I'm talking about.
Subscribe, like, and share on all platforms.
Man, it's good to see you, Chester.
Same here. It's been a minute, man.
Yeah, it has been, man. You never age. What's up with that, man?
Well, that's because our eyes age together.
I know that's right,
I walk
man.
by the mirror and it's like, man, who is that old dude?
I be looking at old pictures and I'm like, dang, I think I remember that guy.
Oh man, tell me about it.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time out here, man. You've done some incredible things with your career and stuff, and you've inspired us all, me and everybody, man. You're just one of the most phenomenal drummers out here to us, and I'm honored to know you, and thanks for joining me on my podcast here.
Well, appreciate it, but I can't take credit for none of it. You know how that goes.
I know
God is good. What can I tell you?
all the time.
And all the time, God is good.
God is great, man. You
No,
know,
seriously, it's been a good run. It's definitely been a good run. I'm very grateful, and I mean, just like everybody, I've had my minutes of, thinking I was all that in a bag of chips,
oh yeah,
and it got shot down very quickly.
right.
Fortunately, it was like, nope, nope, we ain't going that route.
Right. It's kind of, when I think about stuff like that, as far as having a big ego about what we do, it's really tough because, man, I know you come from humble beginnings, and then when you're like really successful, and it's gonna make you think for a minute, like, wow, I'm the catch me now, and then like you say, you get
Right.
home or something around your family members, they're like, yeah, excuse me, hey, could you dump that garbage over there, please?
Exactly.
you know, but it's amazing when we do what we do and people give us all, accolades and stuff. You have to be strong, man, and just realize that, okay, now. And you've been
Yeah,
very successful.
yeah. Again, I mean, for me, it's almost like I ain't done yet. There's some stuff I'm still reaching for, So there's still some goals. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, after man, it's like, so I was, funny enough, everybody laughs, but my favorite TV show was probably The Price is Right.
Yeah.
I know my family gives me a hard time about it, but I love seeing people get blessed, especially the people that really need what they win.
Yeah.
There's a vibe with that. But they were showing one yesterday, one of the original ones with Bob Barker, and it was
Mm.
1983, and everything looked really old, and the prices were like, oh man, they're like new cars with $7,000, $8,000, that kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
And but then it was like, oh man, I was on tour with Genesis. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
And
growing up, you grew up in Baltimore, right?
yeah, in the projects.
Yeah. So what was it like for you growing up as a kid? Did you like have visions of becoming a drummer, or how did it happen for you?
Well, it's okay. I, in my mind, I was thinking fifth grade, sixth grade. I knew I wanted to play drums. However, I went back one time, between tours, and my mother pulled out a letter I wrote in the fourth grade. One of those, what do you want to do
Hmm.
when you grow up things, and it outlined my whole career
Wow.
in kids' words, not in the words of the industry. But I wept.
Right.
Yeah, it's and there's still a couple of things on there that haven't been fulfilled yet. So
Yeah,
but
I'm with you on that, man.
so I guess the dream was there longer than I realized. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, that's was I mean, I started gigs pretty early, 13.
Mhm.
Started regular club gigs, and everybody was like, a couple of people wanted to come down on my mom. You let that boy go in them clubs, but she knew me. She knew I wasn't gonna be a
Yeah.
drinker, and I guess in one of her jobs through life, she mentioned she had been a bartender at one point. But she knew
Right.
if I was around that I definitely wouldn't be a drinker when I saw all the craziness. And she was right. I saw some crazy stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
It never fascinated me. It wasn't like, oh, I can't wait till I'm 21. It was never nothing like anything like that.
hmm I can relate to that because when I was like 13, 14, playing with older guys,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd be doing everything, smoking and drinking, and
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be right there in the middle of them, and they'd be like, "Boy, if I ever see you do this, I'll kick your butt. You understand me? Don't be doing this right here, man. Man, if I ever see you drunk, man, I'll whoop you." So I
That's
think
funny.
they were encouraging me to be a great musician, but they were really encouraging me to be a straight musician, you know.
That's pretty awesome considering the circumstances.
Right.
But
Because it
their
was
heart,
like,
but their hearts were in the right place, even though.
yeah, and it was sort of funny because I think they would look at my youthfulness and go, "Man, I remember when I was young like that. I want to keep him on the straight path." And so that they were like my big brothers.
Right. Yeah, I, I,
Yeah.
I had a few like that, and of course there were some that wanted to get you involved. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I mean, in Baltimore in the '60s, um, heroin, addiction was rampant,
Right,
and
right.
man, they were like, oh goodness, I've lost a few guys I used to play with
hmm
from that.
Me, yep.
Couple of guys they were just they might start off very well, but then they get very unreliable, between that and you never know who's going to show up, that kind of thing.
Right,
And you watch that, it's like, no, I don't think so. you know.
right. And when you left Baltimore, did you immediately? I've been checking up on you a little bit. I didn't do a lot, but I know you played on the Wiz, the Wiz on Broadway.
Well, no, I did the L.A. company, not the Broadway
Oh, the
company.
L.A., not
Yeah,
the
what
New
what happens
York.
is whenever there's a hit Broadway show, they open an L.A. company, and that becomes a touring company.
Oh, okay.
That's where I met my wife because she replaced Dee Dee Bridgewater in the show.
Really?
Yeah, because Dee Dee, all of the cast except for Stephanie Mills, all of the major, headliners in the show, they all went with the L.A. company. I guess they
Oh,
wanted a break
okay.
from the New York winters or something. I don't know, but everybody,
Yeah.
all of them came to L.A. and Dee Dee
Oh,
did the show as well. And so yeah, basically when Dee Dee, I don't know if she went straight to Paris at that point. I think she might have. But yeah, my wife, she had a manager and she had to audition, of course.
mhm.
But yeah, she ended up with the gig, and we just started out being friends. Cause
Right.
I think musicians ain't theater people are wild. Musicians ain't as wild as theater people, man. Let me tell you.
You, I
And
never
we,
really been around theater people. I mean,
well, and it wasn't not so much the principals, but the dancers, the chorus singers. Now, the chorus singers were really cool, but the dancers especially, the man, they you talking about.
party, party, party. Ah!
Yeah, but so her and I, we had been doing it for a few years more than most of them, and we each needed a friend, somebody to hang and spend some time with that wasn't crazy.
Right. Right. So, what was it like doing that gig? Was it pretty consistent? I mean,
Oh
based on
yeah.
the time of the show, you have to do everything that
Well, it
like
was a drummer's
precision.
gig. It was a drummer's
Right.
gig. I mean, because it was. I mean, okay. Well, there's actually a recreation that's touring right now. There's a
Oh, cool.
version of the Wiz touring now, doing like all the other small cities. Well, there's one coming to Nashville. I'm gonna have to go just to see what the changes are, because obviously it's gonna be.
Yeah.
But so Roy McCurdy recommended me for the gig actually, because the music
Mm.
director, are you familiar with Roy? Played with Cannonball for years and years,
Yes,
with Nancy
yes.
Wilson for years, and him and I had become friends. I don't even remember how we met,
Yeah.
but we got to be friends. And
Yeah. I knew Mr. Cannonball and that. I kind of grew up in Tampa, Florida area when they were
right,
coming up.
exactly. So Roy was his drummer for a lot of years, and then he was with Nancy for a lot of years. And when the music director who knew Roy from New York was looking for a drummer, they were getting ready to come to LA. Roy, threw my hat in the ring, and unfortunately, I wasn't a member of the local yet.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's a whole nother story. And there was a guy doing the rehearsal. Like most shows have a rehearsal pianist. Well, they had a rehearsal
Mm.
drummer
Oh, okay.
because the dancing was so intense.
Right.
Like the Yellow Brick Road was four dancers. So
Oh.
whenever they sang "Ease on Down the Road," these four dancers would lead the way, and man, the choreography was just smoking. These guys were
Oh
really good.
man. Yeah.
And so basically, I ended up jumping in. Well, the guy who was the rehearsal guy had been lobbying to get the gig, but his reading wasn't up to par. And
Hmm.
the conductor, the music director, had been telling him, man, I can't hire you because you're missing too many cues.
Right.
And so I did the audition. I had to go down and audition, and the guy was there, which was awkward, but. And so, I'm only not like about a year out of the about a year out of the Zappa gig, which is the most intense reading you'll ever do in your life, right? And so I sight read the thing, man. It was like, the charts compared to Frank's music were really simple. So unfortunately, the conductor would turn around and tell the guy, "See that? You missed that. You missed that. You missed that. You hear that? That's
Uh,
what you ain't doing." It's like, oh man, that ain't. So the guy runs off to the union and said, "I think they're trying to hire somebody that's not in the local." And so by the time
ah.
when the conductor went over to the union to try to, get me in, it's like, well, we normally have no problem with that, but somebody's already made a formal complaint, who still didn't get the gig, but.
Right. So he's like, he might take my gig right now, but I'm gonna make sure he doesn't do it.
Right. Well,
Because the musicians union was really tight, used to be really tight
oh
on
yeah,
you.
oh absolutely. And so I mean, I joined. Well, I was in a union. I was just in a different local. I was in the
Right, right.
and so I did go ahead and transfer right away after that because I didn't want anything else to get in the way.
Hmm.
By then I had already toured with Zappa for a couple of years, and I had just come off a tour with Weather Report. So I mean, I was already
Yeah.
in. I've been in the union since I was 18, but I went on and
Oh, okay.
transferred the membership. And so a week before it closed, I would go down and play through the show. And I mean, so then when the show moved to San Francisco, I was ready. I played it a few times and was ready for it. The good thing was I got to see it before I played it, which is pretty unusual. So I really had a real appreciation of what needed to happen.
Right. When you did the Zappa gig, was Mr. Duke with you? Was
Oh,
George in
absolutely.
it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, he'll get your attention, you know. Well, the whole band was like that though. I mean, Saturday night, I'm in Baltimore playing in a little club in the hood. We're doing like, Herbie tunes and Miles tunes
Right.
and we going deep, right? And
Yeah.
Monday morning, I'm in a rehearsal studio in LA with what to my mind were hippies that
Sure.
played their butts off. It's like,
Right.
okay, it ain't about style, it ain't about, culture in that sense. It's like,
Right.
you know. And so the first 2 days was just rhythm section. My audition we just jammed for 1 hour because
Wow.
there was already a drummer in the band, Ralph Humphrey. And
Oh, okay.
Frank had decided to hire a second drummer. Apparently, I guess he had felt like the band had played the music so perfectly that it was sterile because
Mm.
they played note for note everything exactly. So
Right.
he mentioned in front of a dear friend of mine who happened to be his tour manager. I guess he was talking to the manager, and my friend was there, and he was saying, I'm thinking of adding a second drummer, somebody with more of a street feel. And my guy spoke up. He said, "Hey, I got the guy for you."
Oh, cool,
So yeah,
cool.
I went out and like I say, our audition was just we just played, and so a couple of days rehearsing, and then the full band came in a couple of days later, scared me half to death, man. It's like, oh, okay, this is what we're gonna
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
It was just some really simple 4/4 stuff the first couple of days, and then it went nuts.
yeah. So once you was that the first time you ever played with another drummer on stage together?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
we had to work real hard at it because we didn't feel things the same way.
right.
Did you ever hear the Don Ellis band?
No, I probably have. I can't remember.
Well, Don Ellis, I believe he played trumpet, but his band, it was all odd time charts. I mean, really amazing stuff. Man, Dick, look it up, look it up.
Okay.
Don Ellis big band, and Ralph. And sometimes he would have. I'm told sometimes he would have 3 or 4 drummers in the band. But
Three or four.
Ralph was always the principal drummer, and he opened my eyes to how to make music of all times because I was going nuts, and
Right.
I'd be counting out loud, desperately trying to trying to count to 5, count to 7, count to 11. And
Wow.
Ralph came over one day and said, "Hey man, there's only 2 time signatures, 2 and 3. If the rest is just multiples." And it's like, oh, so if they got too many twos, make it 4.
Right.
Make it a 4 instead of too many twos. So a 7 becomes 4 and 3, or 3 and 4. A 5 becomes 2, 3, 3, 2. Depending on the bass line, depending on how the melody or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, okay. So, and yeah, he wasn't threatened by me being there. He was very helpful, in fact, and I like to feel like he got a little funkier and I got better with the time thing.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Fortunately, Ralph left us last year, but wonderful human being, wonderful drummer.
Mhm. That's always cool when two drummers aren't like trying to compete on
Oh,
stage
right.
and
Well,
you're actually working
well, look,
working together, you
look at
know.
the origins of drumming. Look at Africa.
I know, man. You got like 30 drummers all
Well,
you
you had a mentor, and
sync.
you had to serve an apprenticeship while you learned
Exactly.
thing. And the guy, I mean, we've gotten away from that.
Yep. The first band I ever played in Chester was a two drummer band. It was based on like the James Brown situation.
Okay,
It was like it, at some points in the music we had to be like spot on together, like
right,
dancing a
right,
waltz together. And then other times like this guy does that and then I come up under like countering it.
right. Last time I
Yeah.
saw James, I was playing with George Duke. And, George had me do one of his solo things. Well, he was actually MD. It was a big festival in Japan. I wish I knew the
Hmm.
name of the festival. And when I tell you the headline, the order of the show. So anyway, we went on first, and George introduced a couple of Japanese artists who came up and sang with us. There was Irene Cara who had done Fame. Remember that the movie?
Yes. Oh yeah.
He had
Hmm.
produced an album for her, so she was on the show as well. And then Duke did some of his stuff, and so we it went well. It was fine. Man, he was very gracious. I got to take my family, my
Yeah.
son and my wife got to come with me and stuff. Oh, did my son come? Yeah, in fact, yeah, they both came. Yeah, because he remembers this show as well. So we get
Hmm.
done, and then the next band on. I don't know if you remember Quiet Riot rock band.
I do, of course. Yes.
Quiet Riot was next. So you got George Duke, Quiet Riot, and the headliner was Dio, Ronnie James Dio, who used to be the lead singer. Was it Black Sabbath or one of those? So it's like, and all the Japanese kids with the blue mohawks and the pink mohawks,
Yeah.
they're out there. And the headliner was James Brown.
Right.
At the end of all of
Wow.
that, James Brown comes out. So you got people, I mean Japanese, but you got the kids with the mohawks and the crazy clothes, and you got very conservative. And man, everybody's bopping and dancing. And when James hit the stage, it was like,
Yeah.
it was 2 drummers. It would have been Jabbo and
Uh uh Clyde Stubblefield.
yeah, there would have been the 2 of them.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, it was
Yeah.
on. Let me tell you, man. And it wasn't like two guys in the playing the same pocket.
Yeah.
I don't remember who was doing what, but one of them, for the most part, had mallets, and he's playing the
Mhm.
jungle along with the
Right.
funk thing. And it was like, oh my, the grooves were just
I
crazy.
know.
And
My
so we guys told us on the plane. You remember years and years ago, James got locked up for a while.
I remember. Yeah.
So they were saying, man, this is our first gig back since he got out, and they had no rehearsals, and it was still the tightest thing you ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
It was
I
like,
know.
oh my goodness. Yeah, it was
My,
that. I mean, growing up in the '60s, I saw him live about 3 times, you know,
hmm
because we had a theater like the Apollo, and
Yes.
that
Yes.
circuit would come through the Royal Theater in Baltimore.
Right. Right.
So I saw everybody. We saw all. The only one I didn't see was Otis Redding. But
Oh, okay.
everybody else, all the Stax artists, all the Motown, I saw Sam Cooke, Chuck Jackson, everybody, man. It was, and and Curtis Mayfield. Curtis would always bring his own. A lot of them started bringing their own rhythm sections. And Curtis, I don't know what he said to the band, but the band never ever sounded as good. The house band never sounded as good with anybody that they did as they did with Curtis. And he'd always have a jazz drummer. He,
Yeah.
he had one guy named Leo Morris, and Leo eventually changed his name. Wasn't Rashid Ali? What was his? He changed to a Muslim name, and how I'll remember as soon as we get done talking, right? I don't think it was. I don't think it was Rashid Ali, but and when I looked it up, it said I've seen that guy. I know I saw him with Curtis, and you remember like it's all right. Well, this is that guy,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like we're winning, and that bass drum was like, oh my goodness.
He's doing that on that kick that do 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 do
Yeah,
do.
because nobody was doing that before then,
I remember that.
it's not on a record.
Right.
And sure enough, he was the guy. In fact, because he became a huge jazz guy, but then I heard something under his name that had some funk on. It's like, oh yeah, it's like yeah, because his jazz thing was serious. I
Right.
mean, so seeing that stuff live, I mean, it just made an impression, man. It's like, and
Yeah.
my first drum set lessons were all straight ahead jazz, by the way.
Oh, okay. Wow. You started right off. They threw
Well,
you right into the snake pit of music,
well,
man. You
that
had
wasn't the first gigs, but all the drum set lessons were straight ahead jazz.
wow.
First teacher was one of my brother's best friends, and they had both been in the military. My brother decided to stay and do a career, so they weren't, they weren't running the streets anymore. But in the meantime, his friend had become a drummer, and he had done all the soul music of the day, but he settled on jazz. He didn't want to play that stuff anymore. And
Really?
so I started with him when he was probably 12. And at 13, I'm at his house one morning and the phone rings and it's like, I'm not interested. Hold on, I think I got a drummer for you though. And it's like put his hand over the receiver on the phone. It's like,
Yeah.
hey man, you want a gig? It's like, of course I want a gig. I didn't even have a drum set yet.
Oh, really?
They because he told them I was 13, they wanted to hear me, so he took his kit down to a restaurant. We audition, and the family. I had one uncle that had enough credit. We went and bought a used drum kit, and I started that weekend and played every weekend until I graduated high school. Then I went on the road.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure it's
Cool.
probably similar to your thing.
Oh yeah, I did the same thing. I
Mhm.
couldn't be in the club unless I was playing, and then when I wasn't playing, I had to go sit out in the car and stuff.
Right. Well,
Because
yeah, I'd have to be
I
in the
was like
office or outside, right?
yeah, and I read where you had made you a little mustache.
Only once. We only tried it once.
Try to make yourself look like you were older.
Well, my mother drew it on actually.
She did it.
So we were playing. Like I said, Baltimore is 70% black, of course.
Yes.
So a gig comes up and it's out in the suburbs at a white club, and we don't know what to expect because it wasn't an issue in the city. So
Yeah.
my mother, I was concerned, so she drew a little mustache on. And when we left the gig that night, the lady, very nice lady who was the manager of the club, she came over. She said, "Really enjoyed your band. By the way, your mustache is running."
Didn't work out too well.
Yeah, it was, it was
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, we didn't
Yep.
bother trying that again, no.
That's funny, man. Uh, I remember I was playing with this band that was the funky soul funk stuff, Pocket Grooves.
Mm,
And the sax player in the band, he hated the gig, but he liked the fact that he was getting a consistent paycheck. But every Sunday he'd do a jazz gig and he
okay.
called it Sunday and all that jazz
Hmm.
in mid morning, like a brunch type situation.
Okay.
And they'd be, man, the drummer just be swinging Chester, and effortlessly, and just face look like,
Right.
but it'd be like, his body wasn't like, he was like,
Right. Oh no, I understand.
and he had his snare was tilted up like a
Oh,
marching.
traditional grip. That's how I learned was
Yeah,
traditional.
yes.
And so
So
you make it hang like, we didn't have harnesses. We just had a sling that one spot, so the drum hangs like that. So you have to.
yes, yes. So me, Mr. Match Grip, and Mr. Funky Guy,
Oh, okay.
Benny Schaefer's was the sax player's name. He said, "Hey man," and he always smiled, Chester, always smile. Even when he's upset, he'd be smiling like, "You ain't
Mhm.
playing nothing, Chester. You can do better than that, man. What's up?"
Right.
Man, that's terrible. So anyway, he said, "Yeah, he'd be smiling at you." Like I'd be like, and then I start smiling, and he'd be like, "What you smiling about?" but but anyway, he said, I want you to come hear some jazz." And
Hmm.
dude was smoking, and he said, "So I'm gonna let you sit in." So this is how they made me be aware that I wasn't that good on drums. So he said
Okay.
they had a trio. So he said, "Hey man," he told the B3 player, "This is the drummer I was telling you about, man. He said he wants to swing." He said, "You can swing." I didn't know nothing about swinging. I didn't even know what it meant. I was like, "Yeah, I know a swing, like in a swing." I said, "Yeah, I can swing." He said, "Okay, we're gonna get you up." And the club is a small club, and everybody knows everybody. So everybody talks. "Hey man, what's going on?" Yeah, blah blah blah. Anyway, I get up there, man, and he said, "Okay, we're gonna swing." There was something like "Night in Tunisia" or something. I'm like, "What?"
Oh
And,
man.
that's like,
Ooh.
and the organ player said, "I usually run drummers out of town with my left hand." I didn't know what he was talking about. So he said, the drummer said, "Don't change nothing. Just play my kit. Don't touch nothing." And so and I was like, "Puche, puche, 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 puche." And Chester, the keyboard players, and oh man, the sax player was sitting there like this. "So how you feel?" I was like, "Man, I'm out, sit your ass down. Now you're gonna learn something." And
Ah.
they said, and he said, "Man, you wasn't swinging, but you sure were dangling." So jazz had me nervous, man. Every time you say jazz, I'd be like, "Oh no." But you embraced it immediately, huh? You got right in there at the beginning, man, playing
Well,
jazz.
plus the way he taught me was playing along with albums. We listened to an
Okay.
album, we would pick a song from one of the albums, and so he would teach me, lead me. He told me two things that I've taught all my students even to this day. If
Hmm.
you really wanted to swing, the two and four is not just in your hi-hat, it's in your ride.
Yes.
It's not heavy, just the lightest, tiniest little accent on the right. Tang, 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 tang. It's like, and then when you add the hi-hat to that, oh, okay. And he said, now the way to not get lost, learn the melody, sing the melody in your head, and you'll know where they are in the
Mhm.
solos. So you'll know where to put your fills and that kind of stuff. And every day, man, we would just go for it. He made a mistake, especially during the summer. I mean, he had mostly Saturdays, I guess, on school weeks. But as soon as summer came, he made the mistake, said, "Man, whenever you want a lesson, come over." So I rang his bell at 9 o'clock every morning. I didn't find out
Wow.
2 years later that he had been driving a taxi till two in the morning the nights he didn't have a gig, and it was like he would still get right up, cook us breakfast, and we'd go to work, and we'd
Whoa, that's
hit it all
great.
day, man. You know.
So you were ready for prime time when you got
Yeah,
that opportunity.
James Harris is his name. He just turned 88. Got him living in Virginia. He's retired, and he's had some health
Oh.
issues, but man, what a sweet guy, man. He just was
Yeah, well,
just
where in Virginia is he?
oh, it's a little bitty town, Churchwell or something like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I mean
I
in the
just
country,
did 2 weeks
really
in
in the
Virginia.
country, you know.
Yeah, I just did 2 weeks in Virginia in the middle of a bunch of little small towns and
Okay,
stuff.
this one wouldn't even have a venue. This is really a city.
Right.
But no, he had bought a property, I guess his family had some property down there and he bought a piece of it and was just holding on to it until time.
Yeah. So now you've gotten a reputation as one of the good drummers to hire, I'm sure, around town, huh?
I don't work that much here. Well, they
No,
don't.
I mean when you were doing the jazz
Oh, I did
gig,
all the gigs, yeah. I mean,
in
eventually
Baltimore.
over the years, I mean, eventually it started off all the soul music gigs.
Yeah.
That was the stuff. But I'd go to all the jam sessions, and then I started getting called for the gigs. Baltimore never had less than 2 jam sessions a week where the top players would come out.
Oh man. That's where everybody was really kind of being competitive, I'm
And there were
sure.
a couple of periods where we'd have as many as 4 jam sessions a week. There was a
Wow.
Monday night at 7 o'clock in one place. One place eventually started a Tuesday afternoon at 3.
Mm,
There was a Saturday at 1.
right.
And then one place, couple of places, different times would have what they called a breakfast show that would start at 6 o'clock after everybody had been hanging out at clubs all night.
I know that gig.
And so I would make a lot of some weeks I might make all of them, but if because because like I say, once I started doing gigs, there was never a weekend I didn't play, and then eventually, there was some pretty major league musicians in Baltimore, man. There was some serious
Sure.
players there, and everybody would take me in, man. A couple of the drummers, they'd pull me on the side, say, "Hey, man, you might want to like change how you play that ride. Go listen to Tony Williams' ride cymbal, that kind of thing." And like you might not want to play those rim shots on just.
Right.
And they were very helpful. The guys were very helpful. But like I say, but that being the very first thing I learned, I probably, had. And there was another guy my age, man, same my age. I don't know what Gary's doing. His name was Gary Wilmore, but I got more gigs just because he refused to play anything but jazz, and I just loved music. I wanted to play. I don't. From early on, I knew I wanted to play every style. I knew I didn't want to be limited or known as I'm this kind of drummer or that kind of drummer.
Yeah.
I'm a drummer. I want to play
Yes, me
whatever
too.
it is I want to play.
That's right.
So, I probably worked more, but man, could he play. He'd even gotten a couple of lessons off of Max Roach because he was good friends with Gary Bartz, whose dad, Floyd Bartz, owned the one real jazz club in town. It was called the North End Lounge. Um,
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, the only time I played there was the very last night when they shut down. So it's like
Really?
I missed that whole era because they were like, I mean, all the big name cats would come through there. But then Baltimore had this other
So you
thing.
so you saw a lot of your favorite people playing in there, huh?
Well, not there, but no, Baltimore had a thing called the Left Bank Jazz Society, and it would be we used to have these things called cabarets. And
Right. Yeah.
and it'd be like some organization would organize it and they'd hire a band and everybody brings their own food and drinks and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So there was a thing that would happen on Sundays, the Left Bank Jazz Society, and they rented the same place. It was thing was called the Famous Ballroom. It was just like an upstairs small ballroom kind of thing, and they have tables everywhere and a stage. And man, like all the top name guys would come through there. In fact, I met a bunch of guys over the years that you mentioned Baltimore, and they've all got very fond memories of the Left Bank
Yes.
Jazz Society because they could take the train down, hop on the train, go right back, and
Yeah.
of course, some of them would be laughing because man, you got every table, everybody got their fried chicken boxes and all
Yeah.
and the drinks and stuff. but they love their jazz, man. That I saw quite a few people there. Got to see Max and Elvin there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Got to see those guys there and Jackie McLean. Oh man, I saw like some really. Sometimes it'd be pretty outside stuff, really avant-garde almost.
Yes.
Mostly it'd be more straight ahead swing stuff. But I saw a whole lot of them, man. It was all.
Yeah.
Now, but at the same time, I went on the road straight out of high school, so I missed a lot of it. I've found out since that somebody has put out recordings from that series that I gotta figure out how to order them and because there was some classic stuff.
You'd be amazed who get hold of these things and release them, man.
Oh, I know. It's
You
crazy.
know, especially when you go overseas, it's like, wow,
Oh,
really?
oh yeah. And some
You
of
know,
it's bootleg, some of it's bootleg, but
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I had a Coltrane album I bought in Paris. I went in the record store on the street, and I've never seen it here. I don't know if it was
No,
boot. It was recorded. It was well recorded, so it's probably straight ahead.
yeah.
But I've never seen it. It was the classic quartet with McCoy Tyner and Elvin and but man, you know, I wore the cassette out to where it wouldn't turn anymore. When you play it too much,
Right.
you try to play it, it just starts squeaking and stopping.
Yeah. The tape start getting thin.
Right, and played it so much because Elvin wouldn't trade fours, they would trade a whole chorus. They played a whole length of the song down, and he would solo. But Elvin being Elvin, it wasn't straight time you could count in that sense. You could feel it. And when they'd all come back in, it would be so absolutely perfect. And they'd all hit together. It's like it just made me aware that okay, there's something different going on here.
Yes.
I would listen to the
I
solo and try to count time to it and stuff. And so I developed a way of practicing because I really wanted to learn how to play like Elvin. I wanted that sense of time and freedom that he had. So I did a thing that I still go back and do every now and then. I set
Yeah.
the
I checked it.
metronome.
I checked him out one time. I was watching him very intently at
Hmm.
over at the Nice Jazz Festival.
Mm,
And I noticed that how most of us have our hi-hat, kind of like up right here,
hmm.
and the snare is like, right there under it, top.
Right.
Well, instead of his snare being like that,
Hmm.
he had the hi-hat low
Oh,
and he was playing
okay.
over the snare. And
I
I
didn't
was I
notice
was
that. Okay.
yeah, I noticed him doing it and I was like,
Right.
wow.
Okay. Well, I guess I've not really seen him play hi-hat that much, other than when he's playing brushes.
Yeah, yeah. And he was that's
Normally,
what he was doing. He was yeah, usually he's up here and stuff
right.
but he was doing playing like that and had the snare over it
Oh, okay. Interesting.
instead of like that. And I said something to him after the show. After all of his shows, he get a bottle of champagne and celebrate the show. The band. He said, "Come on and let's have a celebration." So
Okay.
join our celebration. But I said, "I noticed you had." He said, "Yeah, I do that sometime." He said, "You noticed it?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, you must have been watching me." I said, "Man, I was watching you like a hawk." And
Wow.
he was great like that. He and
Incredible.
Art Blakey and Mr. Roach, I got to know him pretty good. I knew him fairly
Okay.
well. And Art Blakey was amazing. His shuffle, but in the studio, he would be like,
He did it live too. Every time I saw him, man, his grunt would be almost as loud as the drums. Zappa tried to record my grunt once. He tried to put the mic down there, but the drums were too loud. It kept covering it up because I mean, you know how it goes, man. When you really dig it in, and it's so funny because, you know, I guess you see it in tennis a lot, man. Now it got to where
Yeah,
when they hit, it's like, but
yeah, it's like, yeah,
right, but what I found, okay, I grew up, my neighborhood was pretty rough, but
yeah,
I got jumped once, and after that I started taking martial arts.
yeah. There you go.
And you're taught to expel air for your
Mhm.
force, like, you know, so you
Yeah,
expel air because it does something. It just gives you that extra level of power. And I've noticed in a lot of sports where you can actually hear what people are doing, like tennis being the main one because it's so quiet. But
right.
that's a normal thing that they teach athletes. That expelling that air, somehow adds to the force. It happens naturally when I'm playing. It ain't like I'm trying or thinking about it. It just happens. It just comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I've heard myself do it and I have to almost laugh.
You're right.
Frank used to try to record it, but he could never capture it
Really.
because the drums would drown it out.
You should have put a mic, put it right on you where you can catch you.
It still wouldn't have made any difference. Well, maybe a contact mic might have done it. Maybe.
So with Frank Zappa, man, you guys, man, and I saw you with Joe Zawin though, no, too, man.
Or whether you came to one of the Weather Report gigs?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
One of your
okay.
gigs, I saw you, and that was before I knew you, but and uh and I got to know Joe fairly well. We used to
Hmm.
be in Europe, like you were saying
Okay.
about Japan. They'd have in Montreux, Switzerland. You'd
Right.
have
Right.
they call it a jazz festival, but it would be jazz, pop, funk,
Right.
reggae,
Right.
rock, country on one venue.
Right.
So,
Right.
but I would watch Joe. He had a drummer called named Paco. You
Oh
know
yeah.
this?
The Zavino Syndicate afterwards.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes. He'd be so Joe said, I got a new drummer. I want you to check him out. And I said, oh, okay. He said, why watch him? You're gonna like him. So the whole time he was just doing the I'm like, what is Joe talking?
Oh, your sound went away.
Yeah.
Lost your sound.
Oh, he just
Oh,
did
I
an
see.
amazing. He did an amazing. He was just going, pss, 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 and all of a sudden, Chess, he went like 95,000 million notes with one hand, and I was like, and he stood up. Paco is you? Did you know him, Paco?
Never met him, but I heard him with Joe. I heard him with the Zavino Syndicate. I was at the
Yeah.
North Sea Jazz Festival. He was playing with him.
Yes, yes, and you
Oh,
used
it
to
was
do
Nice.
that kind.
It was Nice. It was
Mhm.
a Nice festival, as a matter of fact.
It was North Sea
Yeah, but I saw
Jazz.
him. I saw him in Nice at the Jazz Festival in Nice one time
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah, the Nice Jazz Festival. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't playing there. I was actually in town doing a drum clinic, and
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to where do we do the clinic? Some nearby town, but the European distributor for Sabian lived across the harbor from Monte Carlo, and the
All
Nice
right.
factory was like very near his apartment. So we went down and I hung out with Joe and stuff, and this guy was playing with him. It was like, oh my goodness,
Yeah, and then Joe said, he's from the Congo in
Right,
Africa.
right.
I said, wow. He said, yeah, he played on drums that they made out of wood,
Mhm.
and animal skin
Right.
drums. But when you see guys like that, man, some of that stuff you can't really think it. He just would throw things out there.
Oh yeah. No, I mean well, that's the beauty of playing jazz for me. It's kind of like you don't follow a script the same way.
Mm,
It's I guess for an actor, a lot of actors always love doing improv.
right.
They're just reacting to each other, which is the language of jazz. I mean that's. And you basically, yeah, you've got a main theme in most cases. Not in some cases. I played in one band. There was a guy from Baltimore, organ player named Webster Lewis. He's passed away.
Mm.
Passed away several years ago. But he had this band. I had heard him in Baltimore, but it was a different band because he had moved to Boston. He got his undergrad in Boston, and then he moved there to go to Berkeley, but he was such an experienced player by that age. He didn't like what they were trying to teach him, so he went and talked his way into an audition at New England Conservatory. The director,
Wow.
president of New England, Gunther Schuler, they didn't have a jazz department. Then it was mainly a classical school, but he convinced the guy to let him do an audition on B3, so he did and got a free ride. And actually, well, Gunther Schuller would do these fundraisers for the school, but he was one of the world's authorities on jazz. They
Mm,
eventually got a jazz department, but so when he would do these fundraisers, like the one I did with him with those guys, it was on the history of Louis Armstrong, I
right.
should say. And I had no idea all the stuff that he was talking about. But yeah, this guy, so he's finished his master's in composition and arranging, right? And so I had heard his band up there. I was up there doing different gigs, and I'd always go see him. And great arrangements and stuff. By the time he asked me to do the gig, it's like, oh, we're not playing that stuff anymore. It's like first one on stage, whatever you do starts the show, starts the set. So different every night, every set, somebody different would go up, and whatever you know how we always doodle around and do stuff. Well,
Yeah.
whatever that is, that becomes the first tune. So you can never repeat a set, right?
Right.
And the skill level of these guys was frightening, man. Oh my goodness, these guys could play, man. Including Webster, because he's playing the B3, he's got the chords and the bass. So
Yeah.
it's not like vamps over and over.
Right.
He could go anywhere he wanted, and it was always two horns and him and drums, and wherever he went or wherever they went, whoever started it, I mean, he was very
Yeah.
well versed and he could play Bach fugues or whatever as well as
Yeah.
I mean,
So Chester, let me ask you a question. When you're doing like a Zappa type situation and a heavy, seriously jazz gig, and then you go from something like that to playing with like Phil Collins and you're doing pop stuff, are you when you're sitting behind your drums, do you have the same thoughts and vibe with both situations? How do they differ? Do they differ?
okay, so I learned over the years that my job is to go on stage and listen. That's my job.
Yep.
And I mean, I learned it the hard way, of course. We make a bunch of mistakes along the way. But but I learned, and because I've always listened to like a ridiculous variety of music, and
Right.
because I think part of the reason I got I think I love the style so much. I'm pretty naturally introverted, you know. And in high school, I used to stand outside the drama class, and I wanted so bad to go in because I wanted to learn how to be an actor, but I was too
Right.
shy to go in. So I think it transfers to the drums. If I'm gonna play Brazilian, I want to play authentic Brazilian. If I want to play swing,
That's right.
and so I would really dive pretty deep, and man, talking about the reason I can't take credit for it, right? One of the reasons, it's like almost every intense gig that's ever come up, I would get a call out of the blue, right? Um,
Mhm.
and it would be something I've never played, something crazy in some cases. But sure enough, within a month, I've got a gig playing that.
Yeah.
So I was always given the prep, which meant I had to go a little deeper in it just to kind of understand it. And so the biggest thing on my mind on the stage, especially with a show like Genesis, because we never played with Phil and Genesis, it was always a 2.5 hour show, never shorter.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I found the biggest challenge was not letting my thoughts wander. Stay zeroed in on the music. Because if you play in a show and you got like pop, okay, so you got verse, chorus, maybe, probably, or whatever the order of the thing is.
Mhm.
Okay, maybe you're doing that three, maybe four times in the song. Well, if you drift, suddenly you're like, well, where am I? Which is this first chorus or second chorus, or and you
Right.
got somebody like Phil who's all over the place. I got to catch certain cues. It's like, ooh. So it's like when the thoughts come, it's like, stop, go back, stay focused, stay focused,
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
speaking of looking mean when you play, I look at videos of myself playing. It's like I ain't mad at nobody. I always look like I'm
Yeah. Me too. Me
like,
too.
so it's like, but it's just that
Y-
intense focus. So no,
Yes.
I try not to ever. I learned early on, and I blew it one time, and it cost me. But we won't go into that. But anyway, I've always
Okay.
my main thing has been never have an opinion of the music I'm playing. If I've agreed to play it, don't have an opinion of it. Dig into it and try to play it the best I can. There was a situation where I had a strong opinion about it and it didn't go well. It did not go well because I didn't like what was going on. But in every situation, and I've played with some characters as yourself,
Oh yeah.
but it's like, okay, I gotta be on. I gotta be on point. I gotta dig into this music. What's the deeper thing here? What's the real pocket? And for me, it was always early on, especially when I could, and it wasn't like I planned it, but I realized the difference it made. If it's anything with rhythms and movement, if I could see the dance that goes with the music, that gives me a deeper understanding of what needs to happen.
Right.
Even with Genesis, in one night, they, I walked. There was a club near the hotel. I was there for rehearsals, and so I just wandered down just to see what's going on.
Yeah.
People are dancing. Is that really quirky stuff? Because in my mind, it's like, boy, this stuff is stiff,
Yeah.
Then I saw people dancing and respond. It's like, well, wait a minute. That's there's a groove here. It's not the groove I grew up with, but these people, there's a groove. They're like they're lock and relax. And so I had to look at it a different way, and that made it
Right.
a lot easier for me to try to go deeper and try to put my finger on the groove. There was still, but there's this one thing I've told it in clinics, right? The hardest song
Hmm.
for me was the simplest one in the book.
That's right. That's true.
It's like a ballad, so it's like,
Right.
Afterglow, it's called. Beautiful melody. And I'd play it, and Phil would always stop me and say, man, that's not the right feel. And it's like, okay, so it's just,
Yeah.
and so finally I said, Phil, okay, you got to help me out here. What are you feeling? Where are you coming from with this? He says, it's just like you walking, man, boom, bop, boom, bop. And then I got the understanding, okay, where I grew up, that ain't how we walked.
Right. Yeah.
I had to
Right.
take, I had to take the swagger out.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Exactly.
like boom, bop, chicka, boom, no, none of that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like boom, bop,
Right. I work with a guitarist from a rock group. Really, I don't want to say his name, but
I understand.
but he saw me play something called Black Nativity, a Christmas show,
Oh yeah.
and I was the MD for that show.
What years?
Uh,
Did you
I
travel to
can't
Europe
even,
with it or?
no, 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 no. It was only in Seattle. It was
Okay,
in
because a
Seattle.
very dear friend of mine did that and went to Europe and stayed there. That's what I was
Yeah, right.
okay.
I can relate to that.
Okay.
But the guy was at the show and he saw me and during the break, I would always go out in the lobby and get me a little nip, a little something to sip on and chill me
Mm,
down a little bit because they were so intense and
mm,
and these are truly black culture gospel. I mean,
yes.
like intense, like
Oh yeah. All the
you know,
cliches and
yeah,
stereotypes.
all of that.
Yeah.
So I was putting a little funk in there. Anyway, the guy said, "Yeah, man, I do some session. You do some session work, blah blah blah." I said, "Yeah." So I went to his place, humongous. I should have known he was someone famous,
Mhm.
but he didn't tell me, and I found out later. But he said, "Hey, man, I like what you're playing, but could you play it a little more suburban?" You feel me? So I said, "Okay, I like the way you put that. A little more suburban, like,
Mhm.
I'm from the ghetto hood.
Right.
Like,
Right.
dude, okay, whatever. I'm suburban. I got a farm, man. But anyway,
Right.
uh,
Right.
but just to make that assumption, but he was basically trying to tell me, to take some of my out of it.
Right. Oh yeah.
And then I was like, well, I wasn't doing suburban when you saw me, and that's what attracted you to me wanting to be on
Right.
the session.
Right.
Well, I now I realize I want to make you play a little more lighter or not so heavy, and I said, okay. So I did the session. I did 5 tracks, and he took all of them off and did it himself, all of my playing off, and put himself on there trying to do what I was doing.
Uh,
And he only had me on there playing tambourine anyway. But
right.
I find
Right.
that
Right.
really funny that when you play a certain way, it's best that you actually get an example or a lot of people try to express to the drummer how to do something, but you have no clue. It's like, give me an example, show me. Like you said, you had to get inside, like you said, the way Phil heard you walking. We don't walk the way you're walking.
Right, right. Well,
So
the good thing about that gig is we could speak the same language.
yeah, yeah,
That was probably the only case where I had to resort to a, you know, a visual thing. But because drummer to drummer, it was so much easier than like just like you said, so many times you trying to relate to the artist or the, you know,
yeah,
producer, and they don't speak drum.
yeah, yeah. You're not
I mean,
really explaining
every
it. I don't.
profession's got its own language, you know.
That's
You
true.
might not speak plumber or electrician or, you know, rocket
Yes.
scientist. You know what I mean? It's like,
And
okay,
I
well,
learned that working with Jamie Johnson in Nashville. I did that gig 2.5 years, but the first
okay.
Willie Nelson introduced me to Jamie Johnson.
Hmm.
And I said to Jamie, you know, we were on sitting on Willie's bus, and I said, hey man, you ever need a drummer, give me a call. He said, well, give me your number. And I gave it to him. And 2 days later he called, said, I got a gig. I said, yeah, when is it? Well, we're leaving tomorrow night. Can you go?
Uh,
He said, man, I don't know you. I don't know your music. He said, well, you know Willie and you play with BB, you'll be all right. But he started calling all these classic country songs. I had no
oh,
clue, and I no rehearsal or nothing. And I was like, and a couple of times he turned around, Chester, and said, "Hey, Tony Coleman, sit this one out." And that happened about 6 times. So I said to Jamie, Jamie, I love you, man. You're my brother from another, but you need to get a country drummer that knows these classics that you're calling. I don't know them. Now, if we rehearse them, I can play them, but that's not fair to me, you, or the audience. He said, I guess you're right. Want to play percussion? I was like, percussion? What is this gonna be? Country Santana or something? What the hell you talking about?
well,
And I
they
did
start
that for 2.5
right. Some
years.
of them are starting to use percussionists now. Like
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
lot, not a lot, but I know a couple of
I
guys
call
that actually work, man. That, you know, doing that.
I
Anyway,
call
I'm gonna need to jump in a minute.
okay, you gotta go.
Well, I got to prepare for. I got a doctor's appointment, just a follow up thing. No,
All
nothing
right.
major
Well,
going on. You know,
thank you for being on my
man, what
podcast.
a pleasure. We need to continue this at some point.
Yeah, I'll call you again. And
Yep.
folks, this is Chester. I'm looking at my audience. This is Chester Thompson I'm talking to. Man, thank you for all you do, and we'll talk
Oh,
again.
thank you so much, man. Like I say, I've had to do a little dive on you too. I've had to go in and check it out, man. In fact, I've heard, you know, like I said, I had to go back and dig up some of your playing, but then I was
Yeah.
reading on Wikipedia. Man, they sure love you. I mean,
Well,
they outline your career and the things you've done, and you know that you are, in fact, one of the most recognized, you know, blues drummers. They're gonna put us in a box, you know.
yeah,
So,
I'll take it.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so funny here because living in Nashville, I've never ever been called for a rock gig in Nashville.
Really?
Really,
Well, listen,
I'm the jazz
the
guy
next
here.
time I get you on, we're gonna straighten that out, doggone. Y'all
Well,
better call Chester.
oh, that's all right. Well, I mean, I gotta run. I'm gonna tell you this real quick and make it short because I gotta run.
Okay.
So, like you went through what you went through on that thing. So we were in Brazil on my first Genesis tour, right? We went to Brazil. So we're in
Right.
Rio, and Phil and I found this little club near the hotel we used to go to, and they wouldn't let us walk because Rio can be really dangerous. So they would make us,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
they
Oh
would
yeah. Yeah.
drive us, or we had to take a taxi, right? And so we get there. There was this band playing a little upstairs club, great little, beautiful bosses and sambas and stuff. And Phil
Yeah.
and I would pick up some percussion and play along with him. So one night it was just me. Phil had interviews at night. The drummer says, "Hey man, you want to play?" It's like, "Sure." So I played what I thought was a bossa. So American bossa is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hmm.
It's like
Hmm.
I'm doing that, playing my little bap, you know. The dancers, people dancing on the floor, stopped dancing, turned around, gave me a dirty look, and went sat down. The band is embarrassed because I have no clue how they do it.
Right. Exactly.
It was very embarrassing. So the
Yeah.
singer, we in the tune. The singer tries to come to my rescue. He calls, "Isn't she lovely?" You know, Stevie's tune. He doesn't really speak English, so the lyrics are pretty questionable, right? he got so anyway. We go like something like, and they like freaking out. Whoa, they never heard that side of
Yeah.
what happens in between the beats. So now I'm in. So
Yeah.
so the drummer sat with me and gave me a whole rundown on the whole Brazilian thing.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of the calls. Whenever Brazilian artists come through town, I'm usually the one that gets the call. Here's the deal. I'll make it quick. We are downbeat audience, like James, put it on the ones.
Yep. That's right.
So they don't ever play the down. They play all ups.
That's right. That's right.
So beat three and cut time is the primary thing, almost like reggae. One, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2,
Hmm.
3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2.
Yeah.
So between 1, 2, 1, 2, bam, bam, gang,
Yeah. Yeah.
gang.
Hmm.
Man, opened my eyes big time. So then
Oh
later,
yeah.
then let's see. Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things. But fortunately, the guy was liked what I was doing, so I had to show him a little bit of what we do here. But
Right.
he opened my coat, man. He opened my eyes big time, and I love
Right.
that music and that field. So it'd be nice if we could. I don't know how we would do that. I mean, well, you got your drums mic'd up in the studio, right?
Yes.
Well, so am mine. So we could do this from behind the kits.
Well, we got to do that because,
Yeah,
man.
I'm saying because mine go directly into the board, and so what you
Yeah.
get at is a mix on the other end as
Yeah.
opposed to
Yeah. I look
straight.
forward to us doing that.
Let's do that. Because
Cool,
I want
man.
to get into your head about that the blues things. There's some subtleties of that I'm not that aware of. So
Oh, it's a lot of stuff. It's like a box of chocolate.
ah, okay, man. God
Okay.
bless you, man.
God bless you
Thanks,
back.
folks, for listening in and watching, and look forward to next time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love you, man.